Hi, we're going to go over Chapter 3, Memory, right now out of Becoming a Master Student. So I'm going to go over the PowerPoint presentation with you, really highlighting just a couple key things I think you really need to know out of this chapter. So with every chapter, it always asks these three questions: why, how, and what if. So why do we want to learn this stuff? Because learning memory techniques can boost your skills at test taking, reading, note taking, and many other tasks, right? You have to recall that information. How are we going to do that? We're going to skim this chapter for 3 techniques you'd like to try this week. And actually, this chapter has a lot of different techniques for you to try. So that's what we want to do. What if? What if I could use my memory to its full potential? And that is our ultimate goal. All right, the first page in the chapter, they always have a power process, and so I want you to read over that. And the title of it is interesting. It's called Love Your Problems. And the main concept of that does not mean that you have to love them, but it's that you accept that we have these problems, right? There's 3 approaches to responding to problems when we have them: to deny them, to resist them, or to accept them. And the best way to overcome problems is to accept them and find ways to handle them. So we admit the truth about it, whether it's a problem that we have created for ourselves, like maybe slacking in our work, if we're going to relate this to academics, or if it's a problem outside, maybe we have other responsibilities that our family has placed on us that's taking us away from studying as much as we want. So whoever's responsibility it is, ultimately it is our responsibility to handle problem as best we can. Your memory in your brain, 6 key principles. This is a great, I want you to read all of the pages on this article, that's for sure, and a lot of the corresponding pages after that. But these key principles, some factors I want you to understand, all the research, there's so much neuroscience research, I find it so interesting, but memory is something that you do. It's a constant growth thing, and the brain is so plastic. It's got such plasticity that you can continue to grow it or shrink it or what have you, but it's not something that you have or you don't have. We have a great memory or we don't have. We can always make it better. It does work in stages. I want to go back one step. And so the brain cells, they connect several times in a similar pattern, and that's how you get a memory. So the more often that you think about something or that it connects, the more neurons are acting, that are firing together. So remember this: neurons that fire together wire together. So the more often that they're connecting, the stronger that they're going to become. Okay? Remembering is a process in which you encode information, and you can also decode it or reactivate it from the neurons that were wired together in the past. Okay, let's see. Stages, contacts with the world, your 5 senses. When a memory is linked to an emotion, particularly a strong emotion, it affects the amygdala in your brain, and you will remember it so much stronger, which can be unfortunate because a lot of times our negative experiences are so emotional to us that we will hold on to those. And so what we need to do to counteract that, really, I think, is to make sure that we have more positive experiences and relate those to positive emotions, and let those be the neurons that we're firing together. So again, the amygdala is what is in your brain that attaches your memories with the way through of emotion. Okay? Strategies to help you decode. You have to take care of your brain. Health is major: physical, spiritual, what you eat and how you move your body. Whatever's good for your heart, the book says whatever's good for your heart is also good for your brain, okay? And we also need to work our brain, like those word games and things like that are real important. let's see what's next. Oh, the memory jungle. I love the memory jungle. This is so fun. I thought it was weird at first. It took me a minute to get it, but it is quite interesting. And basically, there's 4 different visualizations that they want you to have from reading this article. And your goal is to use one of the mnemonics on page, let me see, that is on page, where'd it go? Page 127 lists some different types of mnemonics. And I want you to find a way that you can use a mnemonic to remember the 4 visualizations of the memory jungle. And basically, it's saying a few different things, but one thing that really stuck with me, it's like an elephant walking through the jungle. And the more the elephant walks on that same path through the jungle, that path is going to be very clear. And that's kind of like our memory. The more often we do something, the more clear it's going to become. And that attaches also into one of the best things that you can do to remember is to always review. Review. Within 24 hours, review your material. When you teach it to someone else is one of the best ways to remember stuff. So just grab somebody around you if you're learning stuff and sit them down and say, hey, I want to tell you about neuroscience. I want to tell you about Microsoft Excel if you're taking that class in college, or I want to tell you about what I just learned in history today. And by doing that, that's really going to make it solid in your brain. Keep it in your memory. Do that several times. They say to do it 3 times, but definitely do it once within 24 hours of learning that information. All right, let's see. These are the 4 visualizations: the well-worn path, the herd of thoughts. If I remember right, the herd is what you let in and what you don't let in. Turning your back. That means to review it within the 24 hours, review it quickly. And then directing the animal traffic. You stand at the entrance. You are the one that gets to choose what goes into your brain and what you decide to take as an active role in learning, what you decide to keep in your brain. So you are the gatekeeper to that jungle. All right, memory techniques. These next few pages go through 25 different memory techniques that you can use. So I'm just going to flip through those. You can read through those at your leisure. Very good tips and tricks though. And one thing I want you to know, again, I said this at the very beginning of the class, and I want to say it again, and I'll probably say it later on too, but everything that I'm going to share with you is going to have all different kinds of tips and tricks. What I want you to do is be open-minded. Consider using one of them. Try something that you find interesting and try it out. And if you like it, use it. And if you don't, move on to the next one. So again, these are all 25 different memory techniques. Find something, use it. Mnemonic devices, that's how we learned our ABCs through the song. It's how we learn all different kinds of things. I'm trying to think, like SMART goals. That's a mnemonic, S-M-A-R-T, right? The SMART goal is a mnemonic. There are positives, pros and cons to everything. There are some limitations to mnemonics. Could be too complicated to learn, which I can tell you right now, the loci, I believe is how you say it, and the PEG system that they teach in the book is way beyond me. I understand it, but I can't see using them. I think it's just too difficult of a strategy. So again, for me, that's me. For you, it might work perfectly. So rhymes and songs work better for me. All right. Remembering names. I think the key thing here is we're going to forget people's names. Some people are just much better at it than others, and that may have to do with an emotion attached to people. If individuals are more people-based people, then they're going to probably find it easier to remember names of people because it attaches more to their emotions. But one thing I want to point out for you guys right here, if you forget someone's name, it's okay to ask them again their name. I know we feel so silly, like it's offensive if we forget their name, but truly, I bet you wouldn't be offended if someone forgot your name and asked again and say, hey, you know, I forgot your name. Could you tell me again? What was your name again? You're probably not going to get offended by it. So don't feel bad when you have to ask somebody their name again. Okay? Let's see. Oh, and that's it. Okay, so that was chapter 3 in a very quick nutshell. And what I want you to do again is figure out a mnemonic device for remembering the memory jungle, the 4 visualizations of the memory jungle. And this week, I think all I'm going to have you do, I just want you to read the book, read the information, and then go through and answer the quiz questions. Read the master student profile on page 134. And let's see. And then your activity this week, we're just going to leave it as the skills snapshot on page 136. Okay? And you can just type that up under the assignments. The skills snapshot should be available for you for a text entry. So you just type in your information there and just submit. All right. Keep an eye out for chapter 4 coming soon. Talk to you later.